to The Power of Hope. The Power of Hope is a show dedicated to discussing Kids at Hope in St. Lucie County. Kids at Hope is a national initiative brought to the area by the Roundtable of St. Lucie County, funded by the United Way, the Roy A. Hunt Foundation, and the Children's Services Council of St. Lucie County. Kids at Hope is not a program. It is a strategic cultural framework built on 3 basic principles and practices. We believe, we connect, and we time travel. I am treasure hunter Jared Stevens, Kids at Hope Community School Liaison, as well as your host for the show, and I would like to thank you for tuning in. We encourage you to tune in to every show this series as we discuss building a culture of hope where we ensure that every child is capable of success, no exceptions. Kids at Hope is built on 3 universal truths, with the first one being children succeed when they are surrounded by adults who believe they can succeed. You may be asking yourself, why did he refer to himself as a treasure hunter? Well, as an adult and a treasure hunter, I am committed to search for all the talents, skills, and intelligence that exist in all children and youth. I believe that all children are capable of success, no exceptions. We are fortunate to have 3 great treasure hunters on the show with us today that I know believe in children. Please join me in welcoming Denise Sermons, Kids at Hope School Community Coordinator, Community Coordinator, Michael Hitzman, Principal at Weatherby Elementary School, and Denise Rodriguez, Principal at Treasure Coast High School. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, and we are excited to have you with us on the premiere episode of The Power of Hope. In the beginning of the show, we talked about building a culture of hope. In building a culture of hope, we must discuss having a shared belief where the buy-in from the staff is genuine and not forced, where people are driven by want-tos instead of have-tos. There is an event that has been taking place in St. Lucie County for some time now, which is the Tunnel of Hope. The Kids at Hope Tunnel of Hope is an opportunity for community members from all walks of life to come together to encourage our students as they enter into school to start off a new year. Mr. Hitzman, your school has been involved with Kids at Hope for some time now. How have your students reacted to the Tunnel of Hope?
Well, this is our 4th year of doing the Tunnel of Hope, and we started off with a great initiation through Christine Epps, who invited us to be participating in the program, and it's been wonderful. The students thoroughly enjoy it, I think, but not only do the students thoroughly enjoy it, the parents thoroughly enjoy it. It's always kind of fun to do because as the kids and children start coming through and their parents, the excitement continues to build, and it's an ongoing process. We started off with a fairly small number when we first initiated, and then it continues to grow from all the different folks that come out, from the firemen to the police officers to community members throughout the district, including our liaisons that are Kids at Hope for us. And like I said, the children, just like you said, the high fives and the excitement that runs through them, it really makes them feel very, very positive about being in school. Big smiles, happy faces. We have the balloons and everything else going on. And I think one of the things that really struck me is super about it is, again, sometimes we forget it's not just the children, although it is really about children, but it's the parents as well. That feeling that, hey, this is a school that really cares about our children. And I can't tell you the amount of times over the 4 years that parents were crying, not because they're upset, but how warm it made them feel and how they felt that this school truly cared about their children. And that's when you know you've been successful in something that you're working on. And so I think that's why Kids at Hope Tunnel has been real successful for us. Parents and children know that we care about them at the school.
That's great. And I have been to your school, and I know your school is fully engulfed and has embraced the culture of Kids at Hope. I had the opportunity to attend tunnels on different levels this year. I attended elementary, middle school, and high school tunnels. On the elementary school, many of the students were excited, some were shy, and some pre-K students were actually scared with the pom-poms and the cheering that was going on. At the middle school, most of the students were involved with the high fives and the fist bumps. And at Dan McCarty, we actually had the athletic department from Indian River State College come out, where the students athletes actually cheered on the students as they entered the school. And I think that the student athletes actually enjoyed that better than the students at Dan McCarty. At Samuel Gaines, we had a tunnel of hope where the children actually formed a tunnel for the adults. And that was very exciting as well. And then there's the high school. High school students are a different breed of students than middle school and elementary school, as you all know. Prior to this position, I was fortunate to be the dean at Westwood High School. 4 years ago, when Westwood first started incorporating the Tunnel of Hope, there was a lot of resistance from the students because they felt like they were too cool to get involved with the excitement of the Tunnel of Hopes. But I must say, as the culture has changed and things have, the beliefs and practices of Kids of Hope has become a part of the culture at the school, the students have become to get involved, and they have joined into the excitement with the Tunnel of Hopes at the school. Denise, you have been, well, you're born and raised Fort Pierce, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you have been directly connected to the community for a long time now here in the city of Fort Pierce, with your previous employment at the Lincoln Park Community Center and your current employment with Kids at Hope as the community coordinator. And it's my understanding that you just completed training the entire Fort Pierce Police Department, and over the summer I had the privilege of assisting you in training the City of Fort Pierce employees. Why do you feel as though it's important that there is a culture of hope not only in the schools but also in the community?
I feel that it is important for us to actually build a community. Kids at Hope was not based upon the schools being involved. It involved churches, it involved, the culture involved churches, also community centers. Wherever kids went in our community, they knew that people cared about them. The city of Fort Pierce being trained has been so powerful because this is actually the first one in the nation where a city actually decided that they were going to be a part of a culture that just not included the city but the school systems. The community has embraced this, so it's been a great initiative, and kids need that.
Mrs. Rodriguez, in building a culture at your school, why do you feel it's important to have all of your adults actually buy into a common goal instead of just doing something because they're told to do it?
Well, obviously you have to have a goal to be able to achieve success. And the Kids at Hope framework focuses on students being successful. And so in order to foster that, we have to be goal-oriented with our teachers, with our staff, with the clerical staff, with the maintenance staff. Everybody has to be goal-oriented, especially with the focus on our students. Our students are our customers, and we want them to be successful, and we are there every day for them. And so our goal has to be the success of our students.
I agree with you totally. Mr. Hitzman, we're talking about today building a culture of hope. And as you know, many schools are built up of subcultures where you have some adults that believe all children are capable of success, some adults that believe that some children are capable of success, and then you have a handful of adults that don't believe children are capable of success at all, and they're actually surprised when they are successful. How has the culture of hope in your school helped with the success of your students?
Well, and I look at really the whole process as being how do we get all those folks to buy into that? You know, and obviously we initiated the program, not the program, but the philosophy by first bringing it to the staff. Again, at the very beginning of this initiative, we said, who all wants to be involved? And we really asked the staff, can you buy into this and can you be involved in this? And absolutely, that was an overwhelming yes, and we addressed it. And that's how we ended up bringing it to Weatherby. And at that point, then, of course, philosophy started taking off. And at that point, we really started designing the training in professional development. We had Ms. Denise Sermon come out, and we've had Mrs. Epps and several other presenters come out throughout the years to help us continue with building that philosophy through professional development, even to the point that even during an interview, we will have the simple process of just asking, hey, talk to me about Kids at Hope. What's your philosophy on children? And we tie that into what we have as our PBS program. And so it is another thing that we use at our school that focuses on positives. And that's what we really believe in with Kids at Hope, that you're focusing on the positive, helping children understand their successes and not focusing on those failures. And the same thing with teachers. So we're focusing on that as well all the time. And so even at the beginning of the year, each year when we hire new staff members, we have a large induction activity that really has them align themselves to our beliefs at the school system. So our staff is fully immersed in that process, and then the rest of that staff will also get additional training again, just to help them reinvigorate, to visit that philosophy and make sure that they're still embracing those wonderful ideas that that really encompass all of Kids at Hope.
Okay, that's great. And speaking of building a culture of hope, Kids at Hope Universal Truth #1 states that children succeed when they are surrounded by adults who believe they can succeed. Mrs. Rodriguez, why do you feel it's important at your school to have adults working with your students that believe they are capable of success?
That's foundational in a quality educator, is believing that students can be successful. At Treasure Coast, we are just in the infancy of implementing the Kids at Hope framework, but it so closely aligns with our current school beliefs and our current school vision that it's the next extension for our students. We every year have t-shirts made for our staff, and so some years we've had We Believe. Last year for our staff, our staff wore we inspire to aspire.
Okay.
Because that is our goal, is to get our students to achieve, and graduation is the focal point. All of our students who come into high school, it's a great opportunity for our students to have a clean slate, and they get to reinvent themselves. And so every ninth grader who comes in, we need to remind them that they are capable of graduation. And part of that piece is having a support network for our students. And so the Kids at Hope framework will be able to help us further our goal, and that is graduation for our students.
And that's a great final goal. Mr. Hitzman, we talked about, you and I discussed about the different subcultures that make up some schools. It's not realistic to believe that all adults believe that all children are capable of success, no exceptions. How have you dealt with adults on your campus in the past that might not have bought into that belief?
Well, and it kind of goes back to that question I already addressed, and I apologize about that one. But again, it really does go down to professional development and having those conversations. And then again, I go back to that interviewing process. And I kind of might go back and even reflect on that other question, because it kind of relates back to the other question as well, as when we talked about, when we talk with children, we see the successes in our children from the adults, from those professional developments and things. And so, as I relate back to that other questions, I had a little more time to reflect. It really does. We see a lot of other improvements. Improvement in our students in attendance. Children want to be in school, so you see them coming more frequently. And increases in behavior. We've watched participant referrals decline rapidly over the years that we've initiated the philosophy of the Kids at Hope. We're a model PBS school for the last 3 years, and we're hoping that once the data comes out and the reports come out, and we'll be a 4th year in a row. And that's a real honor to have that kind of activity. Where I think we're one of only 2 schools last year that were a Gold School Award recipient, and I really tie that into our belief that all kids are capable of success, no exceptions. So it kind of got those questions, I think, a little bit crossed over, but it truly is that we all believe that children can learn, and we hire individuals with that. And over the years, that we've been doing it, those individuals that didn't feel that they could live and breathe that philosophy have chosen to go elsewhere. Because it's not, sometimes it's not for everyone.
That's right.
But it is for everyone at Weatherby. And I know it's going to be one for everybody in St. Lucie County as we continue to make this a district and citywide initiative.
That's great. That's great. Now, Denise, we're talking about why universal truth #1, children succeed when they are surrounded by adults who believe they can succeed. And with Mr. Hitzman and Mrs. Rodriguez, we discussed it from a school standpoint. But why is it equally important to have children surrounded by adults who believe they can succeed in the community?
Because with Kids at Hope did not just say that kids can be successful at school with education, but they have careers. They also have home and family. They also have recreation, different things that they're going to be successful at. And they have to be surrounded by people who believe that they truly can succeed. And this not only helps the community, but it also helps the schools. I think when we started, one of the initiatives at one of the schools was because at the community center, a student came in and said, at my school, I don't have anyone who believed, but here at the community center we do. So we relayed that to the school, and that school is now a Kids at Hope school. So it is important for the schools to also know that kids have people in the community who care about them, who are a part of their lives, and they can also help them out with those students.
I agree with you very much. There's not much greater motivation than for a child to know that there's an adult that's important in their life actually believes in them. All business and organizations have their own separate mission statements and vision statements, but vision statements and mission statements have a tendency to divide us, whereas beliefs and cultures unites us. With Kids at Hope, there's one thing that we can all believe, and that's that all children are capable of success, no exceptions. Universal truth number 2 with Kids at Hope. Children succeed when they have meaningful and sustainable relationships with caring adults. Kids at Hope refers to these relationships as ACEs. There's your ACE of Hearts, which is your caring adult, your anchor parent, your ACE of Clubs, which is your other caring adult, your ACE of Spades, which is your ACE of High Expectations, and your ACE of Diamonds, which is your opportunities for success. Mr. Hisman, why is it important that every child on your campus has an ACE of Clubs?
Well, and again, when we talk about our students, they really strive to hear people saying positive things about them, and that's one of the things, of course, with the other caring adult, is that person that can really talk about that child and really know at least 3 or 4 very positive things about them, because students need to feel that success. And as a Title I school, many times our students aren't feeling that success, and that's what it's our responsibility to build that up and help them feel that success each and every day. We have a lot of things in place that really do help students see that and feel that every day, whether it's from some activities that we do, and we've had quite a few different activities that we've done across the years, or to something as simple as each adult takes the time to really get to know each individual child, whether it's in their classroom, whether it's a cafeteria person in the line, custodial staff member. We've even helped our bus drivers and been trained as well to help them make that connection with their children. We have some other things in place, again, an attendance club. You know, some of these children don't feel that it's important to be at school, but we have an adult that is assigned as a mentor, or that other caring adult, that ACE of Clubs, and they actually take the time to make sure that they see that child every day and really make them feel important about being in school. Same thing with behavior. You know, if a child's having difficulty, we make sure that that child has someone that's tied in with them, that there is no child, depending on their needs, that really doesn't have that other caring adult that really is out there for them to make them feel important, and how important it is to be in school and want to be in school, because that's the most critical part. We want them to love being in school, and I think that's, again, the power of Kids at Hope. When you have a Kids at Hope program, Kids at Hope working at your school, it's very, very powerful, and the kids do want to be in school. And again, I see it from increased attendance to decreased referrals to happier students. So you can just tell when you walk in the hallways that the students really feel that.
And one thing that you said I think is key. The statement in question that I made you is, why is it important that every student has a caring adult or an ACE of Clubs on campus? But what you said, it's even more important that the ideal situation is for them to have 3 or 4 caring adults on campus. And another thing that you said that I would like to point out is when you said your teachers go out of their way to make the children feel important or to make them feel that care. One thing that Kids at Hope founder Rick Miller says is, as adults, we might have good intentions, but we're not always intentional. So that's why it's important to make sure that we as adults take that extra step to go about and actually let our kids and show our kids know that we care about them. Mrs. Rodriguez, why do you feel it's important to have adults working on your campus with your students that have high expectations for your students?
We need to be able to encourage our students, possibly to push them to goals that they don't even know that they can yet reach. We deal with teenagers, and frequently they make mistakes, and that's okay, and we have to be able to say you can still reach your goals, your expectations in life. And so if we don't set those as the adults in their life, then we aren't doing the service that is necessary for them to be successful. We have monthly assemblies for our 9th grade students, and that is just such valuable time, because that's an opportunity when we can touch our freshmen and say, you are capable of success, and here are the standards that you need to be able to reach, and the sky is the limit. And you may have a path that has some bumpy roads in it, and that's okay. We're here to be able to help you with that. Also, we have open enrollment for our honors classes. So students who want to be able to push themselves in a more rigorous content area, if we feel that together we can make you successful in that area, absolutely. Let's be able to not set a cap on that honors class, but maybe you'll be inspired to then move forward to even more rigorous levels of curriculum. And it's frequently a student who just needs to feel success along the way. Sometimes it's not even academic success. Sometimes it's success in the athletic arena, or maybe they're a leader of a club, or maybe they're working in our local businesses and they're feeling that success and having those expectations that are available to them. And we need to remind them of those constantly and be able to support them along the way.
That's great. Research says that successful people state that at times they had someone in their life that believed them more than they believe in themselves. Denise, as you know, success breeds success. The more opportunities and more experiences a child has with success, the greater chance of they form a pattern of success. Why do you see a problem when adults want to judge a child's success off of their perception of what success is, as opposed to what the child's perception of success is?
We understand that all children are on different levels, and that kids are going to be on different levels. We have kids, sometimes we think that all students are going to be A students. All students, as much as we would love for them to be A students, they're not going to all be A students. But you're going to find kids who can do great things in school. Some kids can just make you smile when you see them. So we cannot base it on what we consider to be success. I've found in the past with my parents and other people in the community that they have been very successful at raising their kids. Did they have degrees? No, they didn't, but they were still successful. They had successful experiences. They raised successful kids, and they've done great. So we have to make sure that we don't get tied into A's and B's being successful, that children are doing great things in schools. They're being very positive. They're being respectful of adults. They're showing up to school sometimes is sometimes just a success for them. So we can't get caught into just grades and what we consider to be successful. That all kids are, they have some type of success in their life.
And all children are capable of success.
No exception.
No exceptions. Universal truth number 3 states children are successful. Children succeed when they're able to articulate their future. Kids at Hope refers to this as mental time travel. Mental time travel is when children go into the future, see where they want to be, return to the present, and build up the energy for their journey along the way. Denise, when we talk about children being able to mentally time travel, Kids at Hope is specific as far as 4 destinations of where we want them to mentally time travel to: home and family, hobbies and recreation, community and service, and education and career. Could you take a few moments to touch on that for us and why it's important to have them actually focus on a destination instead of just maybe blankly saying, we want you to set goals?
Because we tend to say, when we ask kids about where are you going to be successful at, and they say anywhere and everywhere. And anywhere and everywhere, as we realize, is nowhere. So with Kids at Hope, we want them to start actually preparing for their future. Home and family. What kind of home and family would you like to have? I think one of the most powerful statements, as you know, when we've dealt with kids and we ask them what kind of home or family they would like to have, one of the kids actually say just peaceful. And that's powerful for us to kind of understand that what was really going on in that child's house, that as an adult all he really wanted to have was peace. When we talk about hobbies and recreation, there are so many other things besides baseball and football and other things that they can do. I always say if a kid can fish, he can feed himself. Also, if a woman or a young man can sew, they'll be able to clothe their children. So some of the hobbies and recreation that they're going to participate can take them into the future. We talk about community and service. Community and service is just so important to teach children how to actually give back from a place that they actually take a lot from, that they actually need to learn to give, but they learn that from us. If we don't learn to actually participate in community activities and take care of our community, they won't learn that also. Education and career is always important. We want kids to actually start thinking about in their future, what will their career be? You know, we always talk about starting with their career first so they'll know what type of education they will have. So we want to make sure that they actually focus on their 4 destinations and start preparing for the journey.
Thank you, and I think it is very, the points that you made are very important and is very focused, and that is why it's important that children do have the opportunity to mentally time travel. Well, I would like to thank my guests for being with us today. Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Mr. Hitzman. Thank you, Mrs. Rodriguez. It's been my pleasure to have you join us on the premiere episode of The Power of Hope, where we discuss, as you know, building a culture of hope, not only within your schools, but also within the community. And remember, hope keeps motivation longer than anything else. All children are capable of success, no exceptions. I'm your host, Jared Stevens, treasure hunter, Kids at Hope School Community Liaison. Thank you for joining us, and have a blessed day.